Deadpool, the end. This is literally the end of Jerry Dugan's run with Deadpool. And personally, I feel it gives him a wonderful send-off. Well, as good as Deadpool's going to get. Enjoy. Not long ago, in the galaxy bar of nowhere, Deadpool is sitting there asking, why is he always getting stuck in decapitated heads? What does that say about him? But with the woman that he is with, she says that her shift is over and she can think of a few ways that he can work out that depression. Deadpool tells her that he appreciates the effort, but he came to space to find a weapon to kill some powerful enemies. The woman pulls out a small vial asking, why didn't you say so? I've got something here that will make your enemies wish they were dead. Now, back in the current time at a cheap hotel on Earth, Deadpool takes out that small vial and he begins to dose himself with the contents. It's time for Deadpool to come to the end of his entire life, and he wants the Marvel Universe to kill him. This is it. This is going to be his final battle, and soon he will be surrounded by his enemies, partly because he may have called 911 on himself. Once Deadpool is covered in the pink mist, he asks what kind of powers did the woman give him? Death rays? No, maybe he's invincible now. However, as Deadpool punches a wall, he breaks every bone in his hand, and he quickly realizes that that is not the case. After throwing up from the pain, Deadpool leaves the room to grab a bucket of ice, and the woman passing by that grabbed the ice sees Deadpool. As Deadpool bends over, she sees all of Deadpool, and she throws up. Once he suits up, Falcon watches from outside and reports to the others that Deadpool has left the hotel. Wave 1, move in. Except as Falcon flies down to attack, he throws up. Deadpool asks, what the hell? That was weird. Just then, Deadpool's hit in the head with a red baton, and as the baton bounces back into Daredevil's hand, he throws up. Daredevil tells him, my radar is actually showing the stink lines off of Deadpool. He's a walking bio attack. Deadpool sniffs himself and he thinks, I smell as fresh as a daisy, though I have been skipping on deodorant ever since I started experimenting with the homeless. Suddenly, Deadpool feels himself being webbed up, and as he turns back, he sees the champions. Spider-Man asks him, what happened to you? We all used to be able to ignore you. And Nova charges up telling everyone, stay back, I'm gonna handle this. But as Deadpool looks at him, he tells him, what's wrong? You look a little peaked. And then Nova throws up, which in turn makes Miss Marvel throw up, and Deadpool shouts, this was not deliberate! I did not want this! I just wanted one ginormous fight! He turns to leave, but through the sounds of everyone throwing up around him, he hears the news talking about how much of a terrible person he is. He grabs his gun, shooting the TV, but as he pulls the trigger, his gun begins to disassemble. Scarlet Witch yells to Deadpool that he is, and then she throws up. Scarlet Witch says, you are so disgusting! What have you done? And Deadpool tells her, I would be hurt if you weren't the most dangerous Avenger that ever lived. He pushes Scarlet Witch over as she throws up again, and then he asks, what if this is permanent? I mean, I've always wanted a superpower, but not really this one. This continues for a while, with Quicksilver throwing up on people as he runs, Voodoo opening up a portal and hitting Deadpool and throwing up, and Tony Stark throwing up so much that his Iron Man suit actually throws him out, or up, you decide. But just when the heroes finally brought in Vision, since he can't throw up, Giant Man passes by and ends up flooding the entire block. So later that night, after a quick swim and a visit to the Hoboken laundromat, Deadpool decides that there's one thing that he could do. The question is, does he really have the stones to do it? To kill one last person? The next day, Cap fills Preston in on Deadpool's recent attack, and as the two talk, a hazmat worker tells them that they just received reports that Deadpool swam to New Jersey and proceeded to walk north along the roads of the New York Thruway. Preston says that they're going to have to redeploy upstate. She has an idea of where he's going. A short while later in upstate New York, Cap and Preston take a helicopter to their next target location, and Preston asks the question, why did you ever trust Deadpool? Cap smiles and asks, why did you? As the helicopter lands, Preston says that maybe she just wanted a crazy guy to fight against a crazy world. And as the two get into a police cruiser, Cap tells her, I could see why you were friends with them, but why are we going upstate? Preston says that that's where Butler experimented on Deadpool. Butler had a medical supply business as a front, and that's where Deadpool is probably heading. So we're gonna beat him there. As the two drive, another car comes speeding up and Preston sighs, stating, you have got to be kidding. Deadpool shouts in the other car, hey, Preston's alive! This is so great! You make me feel 1,000% better about this crazy plan. I'm so happy! Let's crash cars! Deadpool swerves his car into Cap's, and just as he does, Cap throws his shield, knocking Deadpool out of his car. He quickly grabs the shield and begins riding it down the road, shouting, seeing Preston alive makes me so happy. But before he could sing about his happiness, Cap drives the police cruiser right into him. Deadpool crashes through the windshield, but both Cap and Preston grab him, telling him, you're gonna be coming with us. And Deadpool yells, correction! You're coming with me! And he grabs the shifter, throwing it into park. The car screeches to a stop, throwing everyone out and onto the road. And Cap gets up telling Deadpool, you can't run anymore, Deadpool! Deadpool stops and he looks at him, you're right. And then, he turns and he starts running. Preston jumps back up and chases after him, telling him to stop. "This is what you wanted, right? Don't make me spend this life fighting you." As Deadpool is punched down, he shouts, "I don't want to hurt you anymore either. My mutant power is to kill people whether I want to or not. Just watch." He takes his gun, firing 3 shots into the air, and they just happen to hit a passing by spacecraft, sending it crashing to the ground. He begins to yell, "See? See, I did that! I can't even mindlessly fire my gun into the air without bringing down tragedy." Cap shouts, "There's survivors inside!" And both him and Preston run in to pull whoever they can out. As Preston rips off the metal siding, Cap comes out holding Adsit, and Adsit shouts, "I thought you were dead! I'm so happy to see you." Cap tells them that they're going to have to wait in the pleasantries. Deadpool's getting away. Later that night at Butler's medical supply front, Deadpool kicks in the door and makes his way to the back. He opens the fridge, stating that the remains of Butler's science experiment are right here where he left them. He's going to eat them like Popeye Down's spinach. Deadpool starts to grab the vial and the IV bags, and he thinks that he fought hard to regain his memories. What an idiot he was. Ignorance really is bliss. He starts to set up all of the IV bags, injecting the contents of the vials into all of the bags right next to the chair. And as he does, Deadpool hears Cap outside yelling, telling him that he's surrounded. "I held up my end of the bargain by fixing Preston, plus an apology is owed. Won't you come out and accept it?" Deadpool takes off his mask and he yells, "Give me a sec, I'm changing. I also have, hostages." Preston calls out that he doesn't, and Deadpool says, "That's not true, I got a little weight in my hands right now." Outside, Preston scans the area and sees that there's no one inside of the building but Deadpool. And it looks like he's relaxing in a chair. Preston and Cap charge in, shouting for Deadpool to come out quietly. And then they look up at Deadpool, and they both suddenly stop. The small office room falls silent until Deadpool snores and lets out a large fart. Cap asks what has he done, and Preston looks at the vial, stating that this is the stuff that Butler used to wipe Deadpool's memories whenever they harvested his organs. A small amount used to wipe his memory for days, but this is enough for a full mind wipe. Cap looks at Deadpool and says, Deadpool did say that he had one more name on his list. Inside of the mind of Deadpool, he walks down the halls of his memories, stating that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but it's all gotta go. With the machine gun in hand, he walks through his memories, destroying everything in sight. His time with the Avengers, his team up with Preston and Adsit before all of this started, his vacation trip to Asia that happened to be the worst vacation ever, but at least he got to do it with Wolverine and Cap. The time that he was at his happiest, when he was with Shikla dancing. He sighs, stating he loved her so much, but even this has to go. He shoots the memory, and the memory drops Shikla. She asks, couldn't he have waited until after the dip? Deadpool tells her, I'm sorry, Shirley. And Shikla corrects him, telling him Shikla. And Deadpool tells her, good. Butler's drugs are already working. Just one last stop to make. The next stop is Christmas, when he gave Ellie the present that Thor left for Cap. He figured it must have been very important, so he decided to give it to her. He asked if maybe he can just keep a few memories. And Ellie says that that would be nice. He opens fire on the memory, shouting, no, she won't be safe if she's a part of my life. And as the last of the memories fade, Deadpool falls to his knees screaming. And as he does, the ground shatters beneath him, and he falls down into the fiery pits of hell. He pulls himself out, shouting that he's been through worse hell than actual hell, by the way, so bring it on! Soon hands begin to reach out, pulling Deadpool down into the hands of all of the people that he's killed, including Coulson. As he's held down, Coulson shoots him, and he shouts, Hail Vetus! And Deadpool says that he killed Vetus once before and he'll do it again. And Vetus laughs, telling him, you're a useful idiot. And he reaches into Deadpool's chest, taking out his heart. Vetus begins to eat it, and there's a light that shines down and a hand that reaches out asking, why do you torture yourself? The hand pulls Deadpool out of the pits of hell, and an image of a woman tells him, everyone deserves love, but first you must love yourself. Deadpool tells her, oh, believe me, I love myself at least once a day. Sometimes, but the woman tells him, hush, and she kisses his forehead. Back in the real world, Deadpool begins to smile, and Preston asks if he's smiling, and Cap says just a little. He salutes Preston, telling her that it's time for her to go home. You've served proudly and sacrificed everything for your country. You are an inspiration to us all. Cap opens up a car door for Preston and says, make sure you give that beautiful family a hug for me. Soon the ambulance with Deadpool drives off, and Preston leaves in the other direction, leaving Cap alone. He stands there, and he notices Deadpool's jacket on the ground, and inside it is a folded picture. He opens it, and he sees a picture of him, Deadpool, and Logan, and he quietly stares at it. The next day, Deadpool goes on trial, and the judge rules that due to Deadpool's mental condition, the defendant is found mentally incompetent to stand trial. He has been remanded to the state psychiatric system, and days pass. Deadpool laying in his bed sleeping, not moving, or showing any signs of life. That is until a man claiming to be Deadpool enters the ward. The man shouts that he was an Avenger, and the doctors strip him down, telling him, we don't care if your name is Galactus the Hungry, we're about to put you up in tranks. Deadpool begins to mutter in his sleep, stating, Avenger, hungry. and he shoots up from his bed yelling, "That is not how you Deadpool!" He gets out of his bed and he puts on the man's costume and he says, "I am going to show you how to properly Deadpool." He walks to the next room and he throws a nurse at a nurse, and then he karate chops a doctor in the throat. As he begins to leave, he tells the doctors, "By the way, I've totally been awake for the past 2 days. Those were very sensual sponge baths, and they were amazing." The nurse asks if they should go after him, and they say, "Hell no. Someone else's problem now." As Deadpool steps back out into the world with no memories at all, he says, "I feel amazing. No spectacular. I'm not sure what kind of food I like, but Mexican sounds right. Time to make some chimichangas." But for Deadpool, this isn't the end of his story. 81 years later, in the year 2099, the men's room stall begins to fill with smoke. As the cloud gets bigger, Deadpool steps out, stating, "Well, that stunk up the joint. Better use some of that bat fart repellent." As he pulls out a spray, a young girl shouts through a hole in the wall, "Hurry up, we're gonna be late." Deadpool climbs out of the hole and jumps, stating, "No, we ain't. We're gonna be right on time. This is some classic Gandalf crap." And just as he lands on his mechanical dragon, we see him with Preston, his future daughter Ellie, and his other daughter Warda, the Deadpool of 2099. And with that, the four lived happily ever after. And there you have it, the ending of one of my favorite Deadpool runs ever. It's time for someone else to take over, someone else to give the story of Deadpool. Because this is an ending, and it's as good of an ending as you can give a character like Deadpool, where you do definitively end everything that started up with Jerry Dugan or Duggan. I'm not 100% sure how it's pronounced, but I wanted to give you both pronunciations. The new writer's going to come in and start a brand new story with a blank slate for Deadpool. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy the sad clown era of Deadpool, or are you waiting for LOL random memes Deadpool to come back? Personally, I like sad clown. Enjoy. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Play this down below. I'll see you next time.